that one of the missions of the White Hats was to stop this, to stop the adrenochrome highway, as I call it, to stop the sacrifice of children and the human trafficking going on our planet. So they have been going into underground bases where the children are held captive until they decide to use them for whatever purpose, and so on, and rescuing them. This is part of the White Hat background of what we, who are part of, loosely speaking, part of MAGA, who believe in what they are doing. And one of the first things Trump did when he came into office was to sign into law the fact that if you were captured in association with any child trafficking, that all your funds would be confiscated. I think that was one of the principles of the, or part of the statute, or whatever you call it. So going back to this situation, it's important to understand the setting. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you never followed Q and you have no idea who the White Hat military are, which is Space Force, certainly part of the Navy and most of the other branches in part, but there's a lot of dissension within the military. There are a lot of Satanists, like Michael Aquino, who died recently, supposedly, and he was an openly satanic in general, or whatever it was. I forget his rank. And then, things that he did in the Presidio in San Francisco associated with all of that. And other generals who you may just think are very honorable people are not. They're satanic. They feed on children and so on and so forth. So understanding this is the context we're dealing with. We're not dealing with just a political left and right that don't agree on, the method of voting, which is one contentious area. This is a world war to take down the United States and to actually take over. It's a satanic, gray, reptilian exercise, if you want to call it that, or objective, to take over our planet. So this is deadly serious. People do not understand why ICE is so, I guess you might say, passionate and serious about how they're operating. That's because this is what the background of what they understand is. You don't have to agree with it, but this is how they see it. So if you're fighting ICE, you are actually fighting the White Hats. If you're fighting the White Hats, you're fighting in favor of child trafficking and the murder and torture of children.
Continuing with this.
So getting back to the writing I wrote here is, the key is that they want to flesh out some of the millions of military-aged men hidden in the neighborhoods, at which point, in my view, they will probably round them up and take them underground, or simply offer them large sums of money, persuade them to join the gray human hybrid army that we are creating out of these trespassers, if you will, and mind controlling them in some cases. In some cases, all they have to do is make them an offer they don't want to refuse, because they will see, that their life would much improve if they were to join us, and this would be in defense of humanity if they understood the stakes. And the stakes are actually planetary. This is the rule of our planet that is at stake. And why the White Hats, and particularly Juan or Sabin, refuse to tell you the real story is because they don't think you can handle the truth. And I don't agree with that. I don't see any reason why other humans like myself can't handle this truth. It's real, it's unequivocal, and there's plenty of evidence of what I'm talking about, believe me. So going back here, so what again they're doing is trying to create a hybrid army. And these, what are gray human hybrids, have special powers, which is what the X-Men movies were all about. That's real. Grays have special powers that we don't necessarily have as much access to. A lot of times we have similar powers, but we don't know how to use them. They can move things with their mind, something from one part of the room to another part of the room, that kind of thing. They can influence long or short distance. They can, in theory, they're telepaths, as we are. So lots of the skills that Greys have are things that we have in our sort of genome, but have not been actualized in most members of this human population.
Not activated.
So it's a good thing to keep in mind that this is not something so foreign to us. It's something that we have access to. It's something we can use to understand the current situation. And I encourage you to take my words seriously, to use your heart and mind to figure out if I'm telling the truth, and then do your own research. That's basically what's required here. And so, as I say, what they want to do is turn these young men, predominantly men, but I'm sure there's women warriors as well, just like in any society. So some of the women will be disguised perhaps as, maybe feminine and very, and not warriors, but I can assure you that women are very capable of being warriors and deceiving men around them as to their abilities. So what we have is an army coming across our border for the last 4 years, being let in. Supposedly the White Hat's not letting them in, but the Biden administration, the Chinese communists, and the MI6 and other backers of that situation, who also stole our election, and they have all the proof of this. They are basically invading our borders. They are responsible, but the Greys primarily have been mind controlling a lot of their human alien hybrids to swarm our border. So a lot of them have been mind controlled. And so I think our job here is to stop the mind control. So getting back to this article, our SSP whistleblower, Pete Peterson, also admitted that this invasion of androids run by AI is coming. Okay, and even in Camelot, we were told in the early days that there would be a World War III, and that would just be a preparation war with China and with Iran and so on, and that Russia would eventually be on our side in that war, and that eventually we would be facing this opponent that's coming from off planet. And I have military whistleblower testimony saying that they have been being trained to basically fight aliens. And you may know about other types of things, games children are playing, and books, that are out there.
How's everyone
that are
doing?
Also teaching children to fight aliens.
Double tap that screen, I'd appreciate it.
This is actually a secret objective of the planet, to save our planet from invasion, to save our planet from takeover. And I think it's so important that people start following my work and really listening to all the things I've been doing and interviewing all the whistleblowers I've interviewed over the years. Classic Camelot is on the front page of my website. That's one place you can find a lot of early interviews with excellent whistleblowers. My work is very highly regarded. On the screen behind me is my book that I wrote early on, and that tells something of my story if you're interested in that. But I have 2 books that just came out that are also about the Mark Richards testimony. He reveals all kinds of secret information that people are not aware of. So if you like to learn and you want to know more about our planet and the world beyond the planet as well, and various alien races, then I encourage you to look into my work much deeper. And let's see. So our whistleblower, Pete Peterson, has admitted on camera that we have armies of androids hidden in underground bases, and so does China. They also need to have like a human army. And I think that our troops are not all up to par. So they could take some of these gray human hybrids and bring them into our army and have them much more equipped than some of the ones that are growing older in our troops and so on and so forth. Ones that maybe were not recruited with the idea in mind that they needed special powers beyond the 6 normal senses, for example. So he designed what he said was a sky chip that would prevent alien androids from turning our own android armies against us, and that includes AI. So whether he was right or wrong is kind of immaterial. We can't prove it one way or another, at least in the public sector. But behind the scenes, I'm sure that the SSP knows whether his statements were just ego or whether they actually are true, and whether his technology, he has passed on, by the way, since a few years ago. But I have had many interviews with him, and actually David Wilcock, I think, interviewed him. Gaia TV, I think, interviewed him. So it's worth knowing there are other interviews out there with him. He's a brilliant man, hands down. And so we did our interviews in person with him, that really groundbreaking interviews. And of all 3 interviews that we did with him,
memberships available.
The Pentagon called him back to the Pentagon. I think he was interrogated when he went back to the Pentagon, and they told him to try to convince me not to publish my section. That was the one section he was really concerned about. But we had already published it because he was gone for a while at the Pentagon, and we basically decided to green light the interviews. And so what you're going to find is the most truth is going to be in the 3rd interview. But the other interviews are good, and they contain a lot of good information as well. Okay, so going back to my article, I'm going to actually switch on to and this is my Substack. It's called Carrie Cassidy News and Views. It's called Great Border Deception, Gray Human Hybrids, and ICE, the invasion no one's talking about. And I actually wrote and published it yesterday, and today I did the addendum part that I just read to you. And this is Logan, the X-Men movie Logan. You might recognize the young actress who did a fabulous job, and I think I would highly encourage you to watch that movie again to understand that they were depicting the gray human hybrids, and this is a gray human hybrid child. Okay, so this is an article where I sort of lay things on the line and give more explanation. I also have links to other articles, like Gordon Duff, a former or current CIA agent who is the editor of the Intel Drop, wrote a very good article on what it appears to be and what happened in terms of the legalities of ICE operating in our country, and the controversy whether the individual who was murdered, why he had a gun, the fact that he had a cell phone in his hand, and so on. So you can get into all of that there. There's also the Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Frey, who wants ICE to leave his city. These are people that do not understand what is going on. And it's like, because again, and I am very critical about this situation, I have to say, because I believe that the White Hats, and Juan in particular, since it's his responsibility to tell the truth, are not educating people sufficiently. And I can also tell you that they didn't want people to know anything more about aliens. They've actually blackballed me, tried to kick me out of any kind of social gatherings they have going on. They've tried to exclude me in every way. And they also have told me and Simon Parks, who is another person who is considered something of an expert on the ET situation, to not talk about ETs. All they want people to think about is who to vote for, and the vote, and how it's conducted. respect it. And I am also not a fan of their solution, which I think is old-fashioned. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to cause the kind of trouble that you see with ICE. And I think that in the end, they should be using blockchain for the vote, just like they do for our money, and so on. So it's a track and trace operation. They want you to go in person to vote from now on with a piece of paper. It doesn't work in Egypt. It's not going to work here. It's just because you use paper doesn't mean that someone isn't paying you for your vote behind the scenes before you go to the office. So the dark side, clandestine operations are going to be just as much an operation during the vote, and I really don't think their solution is a good one. So anyway, I do understand that we need an honest vote. Okay, so don't get me wrong there, but I think there's various ways to do things, and using high technology is a much better way to track and trace and get real votes from real people. There can be various things that they do. And one of the things I also want to say is that trying to transport immigrant families with little kids back across the border and telling them to come back across the border and re-register is insane. All they have to do is file some paperwork. You can decide then, they could be interviewed by someone who comes to their house and interviews them, decides then whether they can be allowed to stay in our country, and then ship them out if they're not worthy, or you think that they're hiding a son or a daughter that's part of the New World Order troops and all of that kind of thing. So there's many ways they could be handling this. But again, what they're doing is this thing where they flush out, make people angry, try to expose the young or soldiers, military-aged men and women, needless to say, in those communities, so they can track where they are and all of that. They are able to use a frequency fence at the border, just so you know. So anybody who crosses the border is going to be surveilled, not just in conventional ways, but also by what's called frequency, which is how the aliens track us. And they don't have to be anywhere near them. They can be using a satellite up in the sky. It could be part of the frequency fence, which is the border fence. And it doesn't matter whether they just cross over, they walk in front of it. They have these at airports as well. Understand that the technology you think is surveillance technology is 10 years or more behind the scene, behind the times. So this is crucial. Most Americans and other people in other countries are completely naive as to the level of sophistication of the technology that the white hat military, the U.S. military, has at their disposal. They are working with a group from Inner Earth that are positive. They are also working with, I believe, the Venusians. And I have said in the past that I believe that Melania is probably Venusian. They're probably working with the Pleiadians as well, and so on. They're not working. I don't think they're stupid enough to be working with the Galactic Federation. So the Galactic Federation is infiltrated by negative, regressive ETs. So just be aware of that. Again, my information comes from all of my source information I've gotten for 20 years of testimony from whistleblowers who we knew back in those days, who they really were, their credentials, and so on, in most cases. And my testimonies that I recorded have held up over these 20 years. I can also say that, as a psychic intuitive, I'm always right when I predict something or just have inner knowing about it. I don't publish it. I'm not into publishing predictions, but I do share once in a while little bits and pieces that I downloads that I get. So if you watch my interviews, you'll maybe pick up on some of those things. So thank you again for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you if you are someone who has been following my work, and thank you so much for donations, for joining my site. Any amount of money that you can donate to Project Camelot is greatly appreciated. Lately, some people have sent me some fairly large donations, and I just want to thank them. I'm sorry that I'm not able to take the time and write letters of thank you and so on and so forth. I hope you understand that this is a labor of love. I work around the clock. I'm notorious for doing that. And I really am interested. My mission is to save humanity, to save the planet, and to protect the children. So that's my dedication. I am also dedicated to the truth and nothing but the truth. I believe you can handle the truth. I believe you should handle the truth. And if you don't think you can handle the truth, then I think you need to do some deep meditation and get yourself into a position where you can.
Yeah, buddy.
We are all alien human hybrids, by the way. So I can understand a lot of people don't want to hear that. They think Adam's seed is something special. No, they are all great. We are all a mixture of races, okay? And that's why we look so different. And it's an incredible experiment. I highly recommend the Oceanity Voyager books that talk about the War of Worlds that has been going on above our heads, in our on our Earth, underground, and undersea, where there are bases of various alien races.
All right, now we got to strip some more wire,
and also in space, and that we are going interstellar. Our secret space program has a patrol called Solar Warden that patrols our solar system for invaders. They're very aware of 3i Atlas. They have actually attacked it, I think, twice and been pushed back. So I have many videos about all these subjects, and you can delve into my website and my Substack and get a huge amount of information. Pace yourself. Try to learn as much as you can. Understand that hiding your head in the sand is not going to solve your world. Okay, it's not going to help anyone. I think you need to be the hero of your own life. You need to make decisions that are going to make your children proud of you. I think you need to understand that your children are actually alien human hybrids of various kinds, not necessarily gray, but they're just the most recent invasion, all right? So we've been invaded going back centuries, back to the days of Egypt, back to the days of Atlantis, and so on. So I want to thank you for watching and listening, and take care, and please donate if you possibly can. Thank you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate any new members. Super chat welcomed. Here again, we're just stripping some wire. Everybody has their own way of doing it. This is just a quicker way for me to do it. I could set up a jig, but I'm not stripping so much wire. Rose. That was a good bite. I should be able to pull that off. Yeah. Okay. Not quite. Okie dokie. there's easier ways, but just doing it this way. Hold on a second while I get this started. Oh, all right. So you can see this is how I'm doing it, and I'm going around and around. So twisting it. Just twisting this up. I'm making some more rings. Pinch your finger. We're not gonna do that. We can always straighten them out once we get them individualized. Welcome to the stream. Don't forget to double tap the screen. Drop a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you'd like. Join the channel's membership. You can send super chats. Super chats welcomed. Oh, there's two. because when I cut them, they leave this pointed from the bevel on the snips, nippers. So we're gonna go with this one. And this one I think is gonna be too small. Let's see. I could be wrong. Let's hold on a sec. Yeah, this one's gonna be too short. Doesn't quite make it. Rose, get out of here. Get out of here. Drop a like, thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Helps the channel. Trying to reach 3,000 subs. Help your brother out. Subscribe to the Old World channel. Hey, Dimkar. How you doing?
Hey, Dimkar. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, Dimkar. How you doing?
Abdullah. Hello. Iman. Said hi. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming to the channel. Drop a like. Double tap that screen. Let's get to 100 likes. 3,000 subs. Trying to push to 3,000. Can anyone out there help me out? 3,000 subs. That'd be pretty cool, right? Where's everybody from? Where are you checking in from in the chat? Where's everybody checking in from? Thank you, thank you. This is what we're making right now. So we're gonna keep adding on to this. This one needs to be worked on a little bit more. Want to get that. I'm gonna take that little bit off right there. Where's everybody from? Drop in the chat where you're from. Where's everybody checking in from? Goal. Connect with your audience through highlighted gift goal. Encourage your audience to express themselves with. Yeah, love. Let's try 5 gifts. Right? 5. What we'll do is shout out. Do a shout out. Alright. Don't forget to double tap that screen. Helps the channel, helps the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like. Everyone's welcome. Gifts appreciated. Trying to build a nice community. Like-minded individuals. Let's see where we're at with that. You want to get those 2 cuts nice and flush. Not soldering anything. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Alfredo. Be who you want to be. Mr. Alfredo. Thanks for coming. Where are you checking in from? Everybody put in the chat where you checking in from. If anyone feels like participating. All right. All right, so it's coming along. It's gonna look like this. Mr. Alberto. It's gonna be one of these Jammy Jams, but in a bigger size. Double tap that screen. Let's go, trying to reach 100 likes today. All right, so this is it. We're moving along. Let's do another one here. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. The Old World community. We'd love to have you. Alright, so we're trying to get this as flush as possible so that when they meet and marry each other, they'll be nice and tight. Isn't tight comes out loose. So then we'll come over here, we'll check it out. We'll see if it's looking pretty good. We want to take a little bit more off of that side. Check it out. That's looking all right. It's looking decent. Now, take that tip. For sure, for sure. Double tap that screen. Where are you checking in from? Where's everybody? Did you get some snow? We got a lot of snow here. We sure did. We got tons. Tons of snow. Record. Historic highs. Let me get this a little flatter. Historic snowfall. Pretty sure we got like 7-8 inches. How much snowfall did you get in your county? We're growing here. We're growing. Here, let's go here so we complete a link. Complete a linky. Alright, so now that's tight. Where are you checking in from around the world? Who's in the US of A? We have this other one we were working on too. Mazatala. These would be for that. more of heat that up, turn that into a ring. Alright. Back to the loop. Ganesh, hello. Welcome to the stream. Drop a like, double tap that screen. I appreciate it. Not that hard. Thank you. Let's see what this looks like. Ganesh, hello. Super chats, welcome. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're always making something. Yeah. Drop a like, a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you for the likes. Let's get back up with it. Ooh. We got 92 in the chat. Hello. Appreciate it if you double tap that screen. Drop a thumbs up. Help the channel. Help the channel out. Where's everyone checking in from? I like to communicate with the community or the chat. Drop a like and a thumbs up. Same difference. This thing's growing. It's growing. Alright. That's a nice fit. Look at that nice tight fit. We're gonna flatten this out so we straighten it out a little. This way we know the ring is nice and flat. That's a nice marry right there. Like they joined. Tight like a frog's ass. Right? Sorry about the cursing, but well, ass is a donkey. It's not really a cuss. A cuss word. Alright. Hello, Ganesh. Let me see what we got here. Get this straight.
Luke Skywalker, Lucifer. And do you know what Luke Skywalker did? Well, he led the rebellion. He was the rebel commander. Do you know what Lucifer did? Well, he led the rebellion against God with his fallen angels. Oh, and what was the name of Luke Skywalker's movie again? Star Wars. You see what I keep saying about stars? Stars frequently symbolize angels, particularly fallen angels, kind of like the ones Lucifer took with him in his rebellion against God. You see, Star Wars isn't a movie about space and other planets and galaxies. It's about an angelic war against God. And you may not be aware of this yet, but Hollywood and all their movies, they invert everything. So the bad guys in movies are always a representation of God or Jesus. The good guys are the fallen angels fighting against God. Who was Lucifer's father? Well, God. God created the angels. And who was Luke's father?
Creator is a
Darth Vader.
force.
Could
It's
use
not a person.
force. Kind of sounds like the Most High and how he
An
used
energy.
the source of everything. And who were Darth Vader's little minions in the movies? Well, they were the Star Troopers. The Star Troopers,
I gotta
from
plug
the
you
fallen
in.
angels'
Hold on.
perspective, are humans, mindless, robotic sheep. Ever notice how they look? And what was Lucifer, I mean Luke Skywalker, trying to do in the movie? He was trying to blow up the Death Star, right? So if Luke Skywalker is a representation of Lucifer, and Luke Skywalker is trying to blow up Darth Vader's
That's better.
contained world,
Well, charged up now.
heard of Operation Fishbowl? You know, Operation Fishbowl, where they sent a series of high-altitude nuclear tests into the atmosphere, also called Operation Dominic. Dominic, which literally
Dominique the
translates
donkey.
belonging to God. So if Lucifer Skywalker
Dominique.
was trying to blow up Darth Vader's container, maybe, just maybe, that's what was going on with Operation Fishbowl as well. It's called the firmament. Did you see actual footage of Operation Dominic belonging to God? Looks like,
Dominique.
kinda looks like a bullet hitting a barrier of some kind. Isn't it?
Like and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it.
Hollywood is an inversion. It's taking this sheeple to root
Drop a
for
like.
Lucifer.
Double
Because
tap
in their
that screen.
mind,
Send some
Lucifer is the
gifts.
hero. And they tell
I'd
you
appreciate
just
any
have to be
gifts.
paying attention. And you know the thing about
Alright, we're like at about 8 inches here. This is... Love out to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up. Appreciate it. Thanks, chat. Another one we've been working on. Hang charms from it, crystals. Alright, moving along. Welcome to the stream. Gifts accepted. Drop a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. This is for entertainment only. Entertainment only. This is gonna come out lovely, especially after I shine it up. Shiny disco balls. Let's go. Trying to get to 20 in the chat, 20 likes. It's our goal for this evening. Jets. Likes. Can y'all get me up to 15? Let's go little by little. 15 likes. 15 likes. Moving along. You like what I'm doing? Creating. Making something out of nothing. Alright. Moving along. Thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. 64 in the chat. Hello. Where's everyone checking in from? Anyone wanna communicate? Anyone wanna participate in the chat? Where you at? In Hawaii. Hawaii. Checking in. Aloha. See, now it went out. Oh, so it's gotta be up. Okay. See it. I see how it works. When it goes up above a certain amount of people in the chat, then it goes on. That's cool. It's alright. I ain't mad at you. Everybody doing their own thing. Let's get it back up. Let's get it back up. 15 likes. Marvelous, darling, marvelous. Ooh, we're going up, up, up. 15, let's go. Don't forget to double tap that screen. Let's get to 15 likes. I know you can do it. I know y'all out there can double tap that screen. I know you can do it. Get me to 13. Double tap that screen. Let's hit 13. Where's everyone checking in from? put something on then.
For tough allergies and nasal congestion, ask for Allegra D. One pill works for 24 hours. Try Allegra D.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
I have to switch it up. I gotta take this off Bluetooth.
Bluetooth pairing.
Now, let me put this on. Oh, there it is.
Bluetooth connected.
Welcome to the stream. Tap that screen. Let's go, trying to get to 15 likes. Let's get there. 100 likes. Alright, it's time to make some more. Time to make some more.